Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and are Liverpool in crisis? Out to PSG, losing the Carabao Cup final to Newcastle, and many people are jumping on the Liverpool in trouble bandwagon. What are your thoughts? Get in the comments. I've got to say, as much as I would love to be on this bandwagon, and as much as I would love this to be a Liverpool in crisis video, I just don't buy it. I actually think this is just more evidence of the world that we operate when it comes to football. I mean, 2 weeks ago, Salah was winning the Ballon d'Or. Now he's overrated. A few weeks ago, Liverpool were going to win it all and we're one of the best teams in the Premier League ever. Now I'm hearing they're as bad as Leicester. The truth is far from that. And I think the sensationalists out there just want the headlines. And the reality is that I think Liverpool made some big mistakes yesterday. I like Kelleher in goal. But I think the Premier League has been so competitive this year. Newcastle are effectively fourth if they win their game in hand. And, you know, you haven't got Trent. And you put Alisson out of the team to give a reward to Keller, who's the cup goalkeeper. And you lose to Newcastle, who are a good team and they're up for it. And you weakened your team yourself. I think maybe we've seen this in the past with Pep Guardiola and even Liverpool, where they have a cup goalkeeper and everything like that. But I think in a game where it's going to be competitive, I wouldn't say it was disrespectful to Newcastle to not pick your strongest side. But, you know, chat shit, get knocked out. And that's what happened to Liverpool. They made a mistake on that sense. And I don't think that's the reason. But I'm not about to say that I think Alisson would have saved the first one. But look, the bigger thing for me is, are Liverpool in trouble? They have got an issue with Van Dijk and Trent and Salah. And if they lose all three of those players, they won't be the same team next year. We are about to witness Arne Slot's first summer transfer window. And if he gets that wrong, then Liverpool will suffer because of it. But where we are right now, Liverpool have lost the Carabao Cup final. They've gone out of the Champions League, but they're going to win the Premier League. How can that be a crisis? How can that be a cry for help? How can that be something that you'd be worried about if you were a Liverpool fan? I think you've got to be disappointed over the last week. You've got to feel annoyed, frustrated and down, because that's the whole point of supporting your football club. No defeat should be acceptable. And I don't think any Liverpool fan should be sat there straight after the game yesterday going, don't care, we're going to win the league. You want to win it all. But over the time after that defeat, I think you're going to realise that the real prize is the Premier League. And as for this Liverpool side not being that good, well, I'd love that to be true as well. But how many times this season have we spoken about how amazing Arne Slot's done, the amazing job Arne Slot's done? Remember, they topped the Champions League group. Still don't really understand what the relevancy of that is, why you play 8 games in a league that does absolutely nothing for you to get knocked out of a knockout era. But well, we know what that league's all about. It's about more money and more games for football clubs and UEFA, isn't it? But Liverpool dominated that Champions League group stage, and people can say it didn't matter. Well, I don't see Real Madrid up there. I didn't see Man City up there, and in fact, I don't see Man City in the tournament even for the knockout stages that Liverpool were in. And they've been top of the league in the Premier League for ages, losing 1 game. So they're a very, very good side. Maybe they're running out of steam a little bit. Maybe they're a bit tired. Maybe there's a bit of uncertainty around the team. And also, I think don't underestimate just how big being knocked out of the Champions League is. It might be a new thing for Liverpool, but at Man United, this used to happen quite often, and I remember it. Because that's all I've got, memories. But I remember like there'd be years where you pretty much knew we had a very good chance of winning the Premier League, and then you'd play in the Champions League knockout stage. You get knocked out in early April or March. And it was a blow for a couple of weeks because you'd be like, yeah, we're going to win the league, but I don't want to be out of the Champions League. You know, that's an elite club competition. So I think there will naturally be a bit of disappointment for those players as well in the previous days before that Newcastle game, who've just played the game of their lives. So, yeah, look, it's been a bad week for Liverpool, but they're going to win the bloody Premier League. I mean, if that's a crisis or that's them in trouble, then I'll have a slice of that pie, please. And I think Arsenal would as well. I think Liverpool are an interesting conversation. I think they're an interesting scenario. I know a lot of people have spoken about Mo Salah. My feeling is Mo Salah's the best player in the league, one of the best players in the world. I think if you put him in a Real Madrid side, he'd win the Ballon d'Or every other year. Put him in a Liverpool side, and obviously he hasn't got Vinicius Jr. on the other wing to share the load, or Mbappe up front. And I think that's what... I don't get the whole Salah had a bad game, he's falling off, or he's overrated. I look at it and go, Salah had a bad game, so did Diaz, Jota, Szoboszlai, and everybody else. And as the best player in the team, obviously there'll be focus on Mo Salah. But I tell you what, Mo Salah wouldn't have had a bad game if Luis Diaz had had a great game, because Newcastle would have had to deal with Diaz, and that would have left more space for Salah. So I think sometimes you see world-class players silenced, but then you need to look at the context of the game. If Liverpool had won that game 3-1 with goals from Jota and Diaz, who played really well, no one would be talking about that Salah performance. It's just that in the big game, when nobody else turns up, everyone looks at Salah. But that's exactly what Newcastle did. If no one else turns up, just focus on Salah and let's deal with him. And yeah, Salah didn't have a good game, but I think I think Liverpool's issue is that they need other players to share the burden. His numbers are ridiculous, but I'll tell you what, if I'm coaching a game and I'm playing Liverpool, I know I've got to keep Salah quiet. And it's for other players to turn up. And they were dreadful. They were absolutely dreadful yesterday. And I think combination of hangover from the Champions League exit, Newcastle playing the perfect game and being brilliant from minute 1 to minute 90. And I think Slot really probably took it a little bit lightly. And as a new manager, you're going to have those moments. And as I said, I do like Kelleher. And some people up in the chat saying, well, he should play in the final because he's the cup goalkeeper. But you lost the final. You might not have lost the final with Alisson in goal. You might have won it. You might have scrapped it out to extra time and won on penalties. And managers are free to do whatever they want to do, but you weakened your team and you lost. And that wasn't the only reason you lost, but you did weaken your team. And I think we're moving past the days, thankfully, where teams like Liverpool or Man City can, rest players in big games and still win. Because I think teams are coming for them. And Newcastle proved that yesterday. But I think for Liverpool now, they're going to win the league. What's going on at Liverpool is that for the second year in a row, they probably haven't won what they should have won. I think last season they ended up with the Carabao Cup and they probably should have won the Europa League at least as well. This season, they're going to win the Premier League and they probably should have won another trophy. But it's still a better season than last year. It's an amazing first season for Arne Slot. But Liverpool are something to keep an eye on, but not because of this week. Winning the Premier League is a big achievement, and they're the only club in the last few years that have done it, other than Man City. So it's not easy. But the summer will be a challenge. What happens with Van Dijk and Salah, I think Trent will go, is going to have a big, big impact. You can't replace players like that unless you're really lucky. What ideally they want to do is keep those two players and bring a few more players in. But that will be a very difficult season for Arne Slot next year. One, because they'll be title holders and everyone will be taking a shot at them. And two, he might have factually a weaker team to play with. And Trent will be a big loss as well. Anyway, get your comments in. Let me know what your thoughts are. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think they are falling off. Maybe you think they're not that good. Maybe you think they are in crisis. But for me, I just think it's incredible that people think that when you actually think about it. Liverpool last year, no one was saying they're going to win the league. They're going to be holding up the Premier League title in a few weeks' time. Thanks for watching. Take care. Smash the like on the video. I'll speak to you on the next one.